Justin Gaethje is confident that he's fighting Dustin Poirier next. However, he says people around him are telling him that they think Dustin will not take the fight. In a recent interview with MMAfighting.com, Gaethje said, "I think that's the obvious answer. He's number 2, he has no dance partner, and same with me. I think that fight is certainly a title contention fight. The winner of Charles Oliveira and Beneil Dariush fight, obviously they are going to fight for the title in October. So I need to fight Dustin in August, September, or October to put me on that perfect timeline. You can't force anybody to fight. I'm not saying he doesn't want to fight me, but he probably doesn't need to ever fight again with how much money he's made. So I don't know. I think he'll take it. Some people around me think he won't take it. All I can do is focus on myself in that regard. Obviously, that's always a concern. I need a dance partner, and if they say no, there's literally nothing I can do about it. I'm not concerned personally about Dustin specifically, because I think he's not done fighting. I think he's still going to want to fight. I think I'm a big fight, a big name. That's a win-win for both of us in regards to the top echelon of the sport. I think I bring more to the table than that specific matchup with Dariush at the time, so I don't think he would take the same course when it comes to making the choice. The only thing is, obviously anyone that steps in there against me comes out with a lot of damage. So you ask yourself, do you want to take that risk? Do I need to take that risk? I can't be sure the answer is yes, but I hope so. I would say the differences are night and day. I used to be very emotional. I used to think I needed to build up this anger to be the person I needed to be. And through all the experience and all these fights, I've understood that it's just who I am. My athletic ability, my intuitive ability to operate in the chaos and control the chaos, I think is something I've really been able to hone into and understand that it's something that allows me to be the fighter that I need to be. I think we're both different fighters from 2018. Obviously, that was 5 years ago. So yeah, it's a different ballgame, but a fight's a fight. At the end of the day, I think he's got phenomenal skills. He's a hell of a matchup for me, and nothing short of fight of the century again. I prefer 3 rounds because it's 10 minutes less of fighting. I get paid pretty much the same amount whether it's a 3 or 5 round fight. If they were to break what I make into thirds and then add 2 thirds on the end and pay me that, I would fight 5 rounds any day. I think it would be worth it then. I think the most dangerous rounds are the 4th and 5th rounds. But I also think that's when the elite caliber of fighter or the better fighter is more obvious. I could argue both ways. My coach wants 5 rounds. I think it needs to be 5 rounds, especially where it leads to. It's leading to a title fight. I think these fights should be fought for 5 rounds, but again, I need to be compensated for those 2 extra rounds. After this interview went live, Dustin Poirier tweeted a quote from Gaethje. He wrote "Fight of the Century," so it looks like Dustin will be accepting this fight. Who do you guys got in the rematch? Post your predictions in the comments. Prior to the Gamebred boxing event, John McCarthy on the Weighing In podcast said that Roy Jones was going to give Anthony Pettis problems despite being almost 20 years older. On the newest Weighing In podcast, Big John reacts to Pettis defeating Roy.
You know, I really thought going into this, and if you watch it, Anthony doesn't hit Roy that much, but I really will give him credit. He was throwing, and he was throwing more than I thought he would, based upon Roy just was not in shape enough to maintain his burst. You know, he was great at defending. There was a couple times that Pettis landed some clean shots, but he was really good at defending, but the conditioning wasn't there. So the burst became, you know, less. They weren't a lot in the beginning, but they came less and less. But very difficult to go against a good boxer that defensively can, you know, knows what they're doing. At times, you know, he was doing, you know, real high gloves. You know, at times he was opened up, but Anthony Pettis really performed well. I mean, because he looked like a boxer. He moved well. When it first started, it was a little tight, and I don't blame him. But man, I was so impressed with how he went after Roy in the fight and used his hands, used good combinations, mostly stuck with straight punches down the line to make him get there quick and everything. And it was one of the parts that amazed me. At 54, Roy Jones was still faster than Anthony Pettis. That jab popped out and stuff, and he was like, holy shit. But Anthony Pettis looked fantastic. I was wrong about how that was going to be. I thought it would be more Roy just deciding when. Go ahead. Wrong.
Yeah, thank you. I want to hear that one more time. That's great.
Look, he's forgotten more about boxing than Anthony Pettis knows.
Yeah.
But he's 54.
Pettis is what? Is Pettis even 40 yet?
36.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
18-year difference.
Jeez.
It's a lot.
Sean O'Malley and Tim Welch on the Timbo Sugar Show react to the video of Hasbulla and his cat last week.
So Hasbulla's beating on a kitten again. Well,
I saw that.
We gotta remember he's disabled or handicapped, or he's got a disability. We gotta remember, we look at him like a 20-year-old little person. He definitely has a disability.
And literally in Dubai, they told us two different things. One person said he's like got the mind of a third grader, or the other person said no, he's got a normal mind.
I mean, yeah, you can't.
Two people that knew him.
Yeah, but we
After
believe
watching the
everything.
Nelk video too, I feel like he definitely has the mind of probably someone younger.
Yeah.
for
But
sure.
when you're treated that way and it's like you grow up at that certain way too, I'm sure it's like that has such an effect on your mental state.
Nelk video was fire.
It was
You watch it with Hasbulla.
So
He's pure comedy, dude. Those dogs and
When he gets laughing, bro, he's so
Damn it.
funny.
He was grabbing onto the bench because he didn't want to do the skydive or
Oh,
the
yeah,
air
that's funny.
thing. And they're
But
like,
it is up. Hopefully, someone told him, "Hey, like, do not beat on your cat. You can clearly see this cat is scared of you. Do not beat on it."
I wish someone would do that to him. Hold his ear.
If that
Yeah.
cat
Oh,
was
yeah.
a little bigger, it'd probably eat him.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Disrespect. Dude,
Maybe-
I love the video. Him at the airport is walking in between 3 giant Russians, just like, that's crazy. Because he obviously, who else would pay for those guys? Hasbulla's family probably helps with his money. They have to pay for that. I'm sure Nelk might have helped with like travel and for the video. But if he's walking around with 3, like, those guys are getting paid.
On the MMA Hour last week, Khamzat Chimaev claimed that the UFC offered him a fight against Robert Whittaker. Today, Rob has responded to Khamzat and says that it's not true and he's waiting. Rob went on to say someone said that Chimaev said that they offered me a fight and that I turned it down. I was never offered a fight with Chimaev, and that's that. I haven't been offered any fight. I've been just waiting. I've been talking with the UFC and the communication has been, let's wait and see what happens with this title shot. I have not received any sort of written contract that says, do you want to fight Chimaev in X, Y, or Z? That's not something that has been presented to me. So just clarifying that. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. In reference to Bilal Muhammad demanding a fight against either Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, or Colby Covington, and saying he's not interested in Shavkat Rakhmonov. The first one's from Plasma9839. Says the problem is Bilal couldn't draw money with a green crayon. The second one's in reference to Conor McGregor saying that he was going to break Paul Heyman's jaw. It's from London Mikes. It says we all know Conor is not afraid to hit an old man. And the final one's from Jibby. It says Conor saying shut up grandpa, I'll break your jaw is about as true as it gets. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.